Now, how would you show a non-Christian that the 27 books that make up the New Testament are truthful books about Jesus, and that they were accepted by eyewitnesses of Jesus' life, such as the apostles, and they were known to be authoritative books by Christians who knew the apostles? Well, there is solid historical evidence that forms the foundation for our trust in these books. Listen.
I would like to say one other thing about the early canon. Two blocks of books we've been dealing with here. The Gospels and Acts. Acts traditionally seen as volume 2 of Luke. That's 5 books. Epistles of Paul. Critics will give you 5, 6, 8. Conservatives want 13 epistles of Paul. But these 2 blocks of books were accepted at the end of the first century. Nobody waited till Nicaea in 325. How do I know? Take 3 early Christian writers. Clement, about 95 AD. Ignatius, about 107 AD. Polycarp, about 110 AD. 9 little epistles. And they cite Paul, quote, refer to Paul and his epistles just short of 100 times. They cite 12 of his 13 epistles. The only one they leave out, Philemon. And you can imagine why. Only 1 chapter, not theological. But Paul is called inspired, he's called an apostle, and his writings are quoted right there at about 100 AD by 3 authoritative writers. The Gospels, they cite the Gospels and Acts well over 100 times. These 2 bodies of literature, Gospels plus Acts, Paul's epistles, 12 out of 13 of them are cited. They are recognized as inspired right there at the close of the New Testament canon, about 100 AD. Go back to the Thomas thesis. The reason others don't come in, there are no competitors. There are no other Gospels floating around to compete with the Gospels and Acts. No other apostles are of the status of Paul and write epistles like that. And we have about 200 citations of them right at the close of the first century. Folks, this is very, very early material. Let me add one other thing. Clement, 95 AD. Ignatius, 107. Polycarp, about 110 AD. They cite the Gospels and they cite Paul over 200 times. But you know what? They don't refer to the Gospel of Thomas. Why? Because they're trying to push him out of the canon? No, there's no Thomas around. They don't know it. They don't cite it. That's why we have much more evidence for the authoritative New Testament Gospels, Acts, and Paul's epistles.